reality of life for most men is absolutely depressing. As much as you want to sit here and disagree with me, it's women who decide who the winner is.
We are sort of telling men that we want an emasculated version of themselves that's also masculine. So
Completely. It is much harder to be a man than be a woman.
yeah, guys lie, shit. Oh, guys will lie. Guys lie like they know they're dying tomorrow.
Hello guys, welcome back to Life View. My name is Ruth Agbeke, and today we have Mpoy, and today we are going to be reacting to a guy called
Andrew Tate.
And what?
Andrew Tate.
Andrew Tate is a funny enough. I like him, but I don't like the word how he says it.
Yeah, I like him as well. He's interesting. You can't be bored with him.
Yeah,
and I think it's kind of controversial. I agree with a lot of things he says. Sometimes I don't agree with some of the logic he used to get to some conclusions. But yeah, you just need to be thick-skinned with him.
Get him right. Women are now.
I think 99% of the world's problems would be solved if females walked through life with their body count on their forehead. Because it would prevent all of the disintegration of morals. It would prevent so many things about the world.
Do you know what? There's like
and women would be like, to be with me as a man, I don't want to put another number on my forehead. You have to be a good man. They wouldn't stop f***ing these idiots and stop being idiots, and all the idiocy would disappear. All the degeneracy would disappear. Families would return. Virgins meeting their first man, staying with him her whole life and being proud of it. Couldn't we go back to such a beautiful age? All we have to do is start putting numbers on girls' foreheads. We could fix everything.
That attitude is disgusting. It's not about women's body count. That would not minimize any problems. Men like you are the problem, Andrew. Women, I myself am one of them. I'm sick of men that have this really disgusting outlook on women, policing women's bodies. Listen, if I want to sleep with this many people, I can and I will. Yeah, but what you're not getting is there's this whole hyper, toxic, independent movement of women, right? We are doing things because it's kind of, now it's our choice, but it's kind of like by force, in the sense of it's like we're so liberated because we're literally exhausted with men on their power trip, on their this. So it's like, oh, if you can do it, we can do it.
Women are now doing things not because they want to do it, just to be able to show the men that we have the ability to also do this, not because they're happy doing it. I think you also made that point.
I agree with that point in so much as I made an example of washing dishes. If you had the intention to wash dishes and your mom or your brother or someone tells you, oh, go and wash the dishes, human beings are rebellious by nature and we don't want to be told to do something. So even though you had the intention of doing something, the moment someone tells you go and do it, you rebel and, oh, okay, I'll do it an hour from now simply because this person told me to do it. So in the same breath, okay, some people believe in gender roles, some people don't believe in gender roles. If you were against gender roles, but you slowly progress to a position in your life where you feel like, okay, I can accept some and I'm more open to doing this as a woman or as a man. If somebody who is not the person that should be fulfilling that gender role, i.e. a man tells you that a woman should be doing this, but you're not going around telling a man that they should be doing this. The moment they come and tell you that, you want to rebel against that. So I feel like in this fear where so many men are telling women you have to do A, B, and C, simply because they're being told, oh, you have to do A, B, and C, they don't want to do it. They rebel, and hence you have that, she called it toxic rebellion or something like that. You have this movement where people aren't doing things. Women aren't doing things because they don't want to do because they want to do them. They're doing it because they simply don't want to be told to do it. So I feel like sometimes men should just take a step back in what they're telling us to do, and they allow us to do it. You understand? On one hand, I can understand why some men want to make the point, because they feel like women are also telling them, oh, to do this, and it can be difficult, I believe, as a man, if you're told to have masculine traits as well as feminine traits, which is something that women we should be careful of doing, where we are sort of telling men that we want an emasculated version of themselves that's also masculine. So we want them to do masculine things but also be like very vulnerable and emotional, and some of the things that they have to do in life as males do not allow for them to have very feminine characteristics, like always being vulnerable and always being emotional. So it's very difficult as a human being to emulate two opposing sort of natures, especially when one is not natural to you, simply to please another human being.
True.
So imagine as a woman, if you had to have a lot of masculine traits as well as feminine traits, it's very difficult to emulate.
You know what's so funny? That would lead me to my next point, where we were talking, when the guy was saying it's so difficult for men in this world. Actually, sincerely,
The reality of life for most men is absolutely depressing. Fortunately, and it's an unfortunate reality of the world, is that it's player versus player. Like if you go to a video game, if you play Call of Duty, right? There's 20 people in there and we're all trying to kill each other. And the world is very, very similar financially. I'm not saying we should be out here killing each other, but I'm trying to explain that there's a certain amount of resource and everyone's trying to get it. And I understand your perspective, but your perspective is feminine, as it should be because you're a woman, right? But the masculine imperative and the masculine perspective is you have to understand that life is war. It's a war for the female you want. It's a competition. Every man's trying to get her. It's a war for the car you want. It's a war for the money you want. It's a war for the status. It's a war. Masculine life is war. If you're a man who doesn't view life as war, you're going to lose. So as a man, you have to wake up and think, okay, everything I want, other men want. I have to outcompete every other man to get it. So how am I going to do that? Am I going to do that by living in the moment, ignoring my phone, having a fun picnic? Completely. It is much harder to be a man than be a woman.
Okay.
It's actually difficult.
It is.
It's so bad for them because, like, especially the mental health, when he was talking about the mental health, and I think he threw a question at me that would I want to be in a relationship whereby somebody is always complaining about his mental health? Is that the question?
Yeah.
I thought that I'm not, like, to be fair, I won't want to be. But at the same time, I don't want you people to get me wrong. Like, when I mean I don't want you to be complaining about your mental health, like the guy was saying.
So have you not experienced mental health? No.
Zero.
Okay, so how do you cope with stress and situations? Express your emotions when you're frustrated or when you're stressed.
Good question. And if I'm stressed or I'm frustrated, then I understand it's my time to perform. And I agree that society puts huge pressure on men, and it's time for men to perform. As a man, you either perform or you don't. There's no safety net like there is for females. Females can wake up and say, I don't feel like it.
Yeah, but there is for men.
No, there isn't.
But there is.
The men who say I can't feel like it cannot compete with the men who do not say that. And it is player versus player. The man who goes to the gym every single day, regardless of how he feels, will always beat the man who goes to the gym when he feels like going to the gym. And it's player versus player. And let me tell you something. As much as you want to sit here and disagree with me, it's women who decide who the winner is. You will choose the man who's in fantastic shape. You'll choose the man with all his money right.
I like a dad bod personally.
Okay, well then maybe you're an exception because you're an angel. But in general, we're talking in generalizations because exceptions do not disprove the rule. Females will choose the man who's in fantastic shape. Females will choose the man who's got his money right. Females will choose the man who can fix any problem. Females will choose the man when they can go to him and say everything's can you fix this? And he says yes without panicking. That's who women want. Women decide who the winner is. Women don't want the man when you come to him with your problems and he goes, oh, I'm too stressed today. Tell me tomorrow. No. Women don't want that.
But women also don't want a dickhead.
But having your life in order doesn't make you a dickhead.
You can have all those things.
Correct.
But then there's that fine line where your ego gets a bit too much.
Talking about, the guy should not decide to not go to work the next day because he's not feeling well. Yeah. As a lady, we have that opportunity to be like, you know what, babe, I'm not feeling it today. Yeah. I want to sleep. I want to go. But a guy cannot just wake up and be like, I'm not feeling it today. Because I expect it to be like the man of the house.
Yeah.
The house. You can't be waking up every morning and be telling me you're not feeling it today and you want to sleep in your house and you want to sleep in the couch. So that's why it's very dicey. And for most guys, I think that's one of the reasons why they don't really talk about, they are going through this, they are going through that. Then there's so much suicidal thought and all those kind of things that happen to men that
I think there's also a trend that I've seen with some of the girls I knew, not were friends with, but knew, where they want vulnerable men theoretically, and then if they get an emotional guy or a sensitive guy, they're very quickly put off by it. So I think we have to be careful of what we say we want, because now it's easy to be like, I want a vulnerable guy. I think what they want is a guy that can trust them with their feelings, but not a guy that will burden them with their feelings. So if a guy is coming to you almost every other day and telling you, I can't do it anymore, or crying to you anymore, for me, I can barely manage my own emotions. So for a guy to always be coming and I'm so anxious today, I can't go to work today, or I can't manage today, or today I feel like that, I will be very overwhelmed having to handle that. And I think that's where he's coming from. Not just, okay, for me, I'm coming from a relational point of view, but even he came from a societal point of view where he was saying like, men have to compete. You don't have time to think about your emotions because there's a whole lot of things and goals that you have to achieve, where the luxury of like giving into discomfort because of your emotional state of being is not there. You understand? So he made an example with the Starbucks guy, and shame, I don't think that was fair to someone not working in a corporate job or who's a billionaire. But I do understand, like, when you're looking as a female, especially, okay, let me backtrack a little bit. In Western society, there's a little bit more of a progression because women are more accepting of non-gender stereotypes, non-gender roles, and non-gender expectations. Guys, if you get out of America, if you get out of the Western Europe, the dynamic in the rest of the world is completely different. Expectations are different. Even when I got to this country and I was interacting with people from other countries, the rest of the world still has a more traditional worldview. So it's very interesting to hear these points coming from the West and to experience different sort of traditional views, conservative views coming from the rest of the world, where women still expect A, B, and C from men, and men still expect A, B, and C from women, and they decide to give that to. And I think there's a very popular clinical psychologist by the name of Jordan Peterson, and he was paraphrasing a lot because I remember accurately word for word the video, but he made a sort of assessment where he was speaking about anxiety levels within women, and women are sort of like more prone to high anxiety, and he was theorizing that maybe it could be a biological defense mechanism because we have to protect our offspring and we have to be more cautious of the environment. So maybe that could be the reason for high anxiety levels. And so that made me think that maybe, generally speaking, yes, I understand that men have higher suicide rates, but like typically if the biological theory that he was making an argument for, you're talking about, were to stand true, men also can tolerate certain things that women can't emotionally more than women. So sometimes we can push men to be more vulnerable when they're not actually as vulnerable as us. So we want them to be sensitive and emotional in a way that maybe biologically is not possible, you understand? And it's difficult for someone to muster up or create an emotional response that we want that may not be natural for them to create. Yeah.
You mentioned something about men are liars. Do you remember that part?
Yeah, he said all men are lying. Like he said 80% of the time, 99% of men are lying.
And he said it's because of the women.
Yeah, he said it's because of women in terms of their expectations. Also, yeah, I think
because women, you like to, is what, that's how you're bad demons. Yoruba angels. Okay. Even if they know that this guy is not good for you, but we know they like to sweet talk you. Even if the guy is poor, this guy can buy you a jet on air, like without the evidence of the jet, and we still fall in the trap of that.
Yeah, even back home, you'll hear of guys who borrow like money, 10,000 rand from this person or from loan sharks to impress a girl. People, borrowing clothes, guys borrowing clothes from other guys to impress a girl. So of course we have to be cautious, and we just, guys lie, shame. Oh, guys will lie. Guys lie like they know they're dying tomorrow. The type of lie
that. Blame it on the women.
I think I blame it on both parties, because there are certain lies that guys make that are unnecessary. Like, there are certain things that they lie about where you really like, that was not necessary. We are not that materialistic, or we're not that insensitive. So I think part of it, I don't know if I can say it's a behavioral thing, that it's a learned behavior, but sometimes it is because of women. In like other societies, there's stuff that we expect of men, especially at a young age, that you can't really expect maybe a 21, 22, 23-year-old to have. You understand? And so to meet that standard, to meet that expectation, if you can't manifest a job in front of you, or millions of rands or dollars or euros or jal in front of you, the easiest thing, which he did say, is to lie. You understand? To meet certain expectations.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We're going to end this segment here, so don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and turn on your notification bell so that you know whenever we upload the following segments. And please let us know your thoughts on Andrew Tate. If you've heard of him, what are your opinions about what he thinks, and also comment down below. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next coming video. Bye.